Alright guys, so this is going to be a short video about the scams in Cuba. Or you may pronounce it Cuba, but Cuba, that's how I like to pronounce it. Alright, so there are four particular scams. Four that we're going to talk about today. One scam includes airport money exchange. Number two, airport taxis. Number three, cigar men. And number four, prostitutes. All right, let's get that again. Number one, airport money exchange, right? Number two, airport taxis. Number three, cigar men. And number four, prostitutes. Let's get that in there. All right. So, really quickly, when you arrive at the airport, you have to exchange your money. If you're coming from the United States, hopefully you're carrying euros. That's a big plus because any money from the United States, US dollars, are taxed. You will receive a lower rate. They'll charge you about 5 to 10% fee to exchange your money. But if you exchange euros or any foreign currency other than the US dollar, you're going to get a fair exchange rate. So be mindful of that. Now, my experience at the airport included while having my money exchanged, the clerk decided that he would give me less money than I was supposed to receive. So he basically skimmed some money off the top, handed it to me, and expected me to just walk off like nothing to it. I caught him and I said, "Hey, you're supposed to give me like 600 versus the 500 that he gave me," and all he had to say was, "Oh, I'm sorry." So he looked at it again and then he gave me the 600 that he was supposed to, and that was uncool. So you have to be very careful. Just simply getting your money exchanged. All right. Next, airport taxis. The airport taxis have prices on a sign listed outside, and when you approach a taxi driver, you should know what that price is. So when you're negotiating, which you really shouldn't have to negotiate if the price is already set, then you have a little bit better negotiating power, so to speak. You have a yeah, that's what you have. All right, so then there are the after the airport taxis. If you get a decent rate that matches the price listed, then good for you. Get to your destination and you'll be good. Now, if you find yourself walking around Havana, Cuba, you may encounter the cigar men. These guys are locals and they will approach you and tell you, "Hey, I have Cuban cigars and come buy them from me. Don't buy them from the government, retailers." Now, here's their whole spiel. Okay, what they're going to tell you is they work at the factories, and every month they are able to take home 7 cigars or so, and at the end, excuse me, every day they're able to take home about 7 cigars, I think. And then by the end of the month, they're able to take all of the cigars that they've received throughout the month, box them, and then present them to tourists so that they can sell them and they can make the profit. All right, what they're not telling you is that these cigars are, of course, they don't meet the standard. They're not up to par. So how is that possible? Sometimes they're made out of banana leaf. Sometimes they are made of the scraps that have fallen onto the tobacco leaf scraps that have fallen onto the floor of the factory. And they're definitely, you will always know that they are fake by looking at the ring that they use to present them. But the box, if you just look at the box is going to look certified or official because they're using the stickers that actually come from the factories. But the ring on the cigars is a telltale sign that they are not real and are not high quality. So you have to be very careful about that. In my case, I traveled to Cuba once, and I bought about 60, 50, probably 50, between 50 and 60 cigars, and I paid $250 for them. And I got 2 boxes, and I thought I was winning. I brought them back to the U.S., handed them to my dad to say, Dad, I got you some real Cuban cigars. I went on to YouTube. I learned. I watched some videos about Cuban cigars and how fake that they can be, and then I looked. I examined the cigars again, and I said, "Yep, those are counterfeit cigars." So I returned to Cuba. Lucky me. And that the second time uh, I made sure not to purchase any cigars from anyone on the street. You know, now it's not that they're on the street. What they tell you is come to my home. Okay, so when a foreigner, when someone, excuse me, when a local is inviting you to your home, you're put at off guard. You're thinking, well, this guy is willing to welcome me into his home, and you see the family and everyone, and they sit you down. And Cuban people are very, um, what is it, amiable, and very cool people. So I wouldn't say, don't go, or I didn't have my guards up. So anyhow, they get you into the home, and then they present these terrible cigars, and they get your money. So on the second trip that I went, I wasn't going to anyone's homes. I wasn't going to, talk to any strangers. I was very, guarded, and I bought all of my cigars from government uh, retailers. And here's how they differed. First time I bought for $250, I had between 50 and 60 cigars. The second time I paid $250 and I got 8 cigars. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 8 cigars. That's how many cigars I got the second time. They were official, and the cigars ranged in price from $8 to 30 some odd dollars. And I had a very wide variety because I said, hey, I don't know when I'm going to be back in Cuba, and I need to present my dad with the best quality cigars. And then the difference, when you look at the ring on the cigars of the official or government sealed or government sold cigars, they have a hologram or a holographic logo, and you can actually see it's very clear. You can see the rainbow, you can see the holograph. Everything looks like it's supposed to be in order. You won't find the hologram or the holographic image on those fake cigars. So look for the holographic image. Okay, and the fourth scam in Cuba is related to prostitution. Um, I I walked along the Malecon, and I was propositioned. Some young women out there, but they're not they're not strutting their stuff and really promoting themselves. These women have their cell phones. They may be sitting alone. They may shoot a glance and say, hey, come over here, or hey, Poppy, you know they may say something to you like that if you're on the Malecon. And the Malecon is one place where the prostitutes will work. Now, another location is just walking down Old Havana. I was also propositioned. I had a young woman approach me, and she said, she can give me a nice massage and all of this. And then she also said, why don't we just have a drink? I'll take you to a nice bar. So I said, okay, to the drink. And we went to the bar, and she said that someone from the one of the musicians from the Buena Vista Social Club was performing, and that that was the place to be. So we went there. We ordered 2 drinks, and those drinks came to $20. And after that, I said, no, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying $20 for a Cuba Libre and whatever else she had, probably a Cuba Libre or a mojito. I think she had a mojito. Mojitos are vastly um, more popular than Cuba Libres. The Cuba Libre is kind of a tourist drink. Um, anyhow, the yeah, $20 for those 2 drinks, that was ridiculous, especially in Cuba, I thought. So I just left her, and I went to another bar um, that I had already visited alone, and the drinks there were $3. So yeah, you have to be very careful what's happening. There are hustlers out there. They want your money. There are even the taxi. Here's number 5. Let me throw in a bonus. If you watch this far to the video and you get this one, this is a bonus. You're in Havana, Cuba, and you want to take a trip. You want to take a tour on those lovely um, old school Chevys that they have all around Havana. What happens? Well, you can be out of $100 or $150 depending on how long the trip goes, and it's simply not worth it. $50 is what someone may quote, and even $50 seems pretty expensive. You just want to drive down the Malecon and back. That shouldn't take but 20 minutes. For $20, but they're gonna try to upsell you to get you to spend a lot more. So be careful about you know how you spend your money in Havana, Cuba. I personally did not run out of money while I was there because I had access to international cards, international debit cards. I wasn't working in the United States, but I was working in Saudi Arabia at the time, so I had access to money through ATMs. And any American traveler who is on YouTube, they're going to tell you, oh, you can't use American cards. And that's true. America and Cuba don't have the best relationship, of course, due to the embargo. So Americans are just, left at a disadvantage. But when I flew into Cuba, what did I see? I saw an Air France plane, and it dawned on me and said, man, as Americans, we truly are at a disadvantage because all of the other nationals have access to Cuba, except for, the Americans. So, all right, that's my 2 cents. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.